for enterprise vault administration. So what we will going to cover in the next coming 4 days, basically, we'll start from the scratch. Okay, and we will go through all the prerequisites. What are the prerequisites to install enterprise vault in the environment? Okay, what are the prerequisites for the service accounts? Okay, what are the main terminologies used in the enterprise vault? We'll start gradually go down till at end. Okay, the our main focus is to enable you guys for the basic troubleshooting. So the first level of support for all the customers who are using enterprise vault. Our main target is this one. Okay, let's start now. Okay, this is our, not today, this is our training agenda. So what we will cover now, today we will try to reach till the administration console. Before that there are a lot of technical but more discussions are today, but rest of the day most of our work will be on the lab. Today we will mostly cover the technical part, like what are the requirements, what enterprise vault can do or can't do. Most of these things we will cover today. So if anyone has any question, he can ask once I finish the slide today. In between, because most of the guys, maybe somebody knows some enterprise vault little bit, he will ask a question what I am going to be explained after 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay. What's our course objective is? So first I will explain you the benefit of the enterprise vault. Okay, what the enterprise vault is going to be like if we implement enterprise vault and what we can achieve from it. The main thing. Okay, we will configure the enterprise vault from the scratch. On all your laptop, what I have given, enterprise vault is installed. Installation is next. So I have not like leave that one because the time is short. We are not wasting our time on just doing next. The actual thing is how to configure it. So enterprise vault is installed on the laptops, on 3 laptops, these Dell laptops. You can start it again, try it again. Okay, we will configure what is vault cache and what is virtual cache. All these concepts you can see it in our coming slides. Basically, what are the index concept, how the PST migration is, and those things. So let me explain you what the enterprise vault is doing basically. Basically, it's a archiving solution. Archiving is what basically? You are going to move your original data to the low-end storage. For example, the Exchange. If you talk about the Exchange, what is Exchange is very resource-intensive application. You require a fast hard drive. If you go with a fast storage, that is quite expensive. Okay, so you have a limited space on the Exchange storage, right? So you have given the user like ability, they can have maybe 2 gig of mailbox on the Exchange. So what if he consumes full 2 GB? What is the option? So either he has to remove the mails from the mailbox, delete the mail, and put the copy in the PST, local PST. For example, if he puts the local PST, what it will happen? Like he don't have backup, so we don't have control on the local PC. None of the 99% of the organization is not keeping backup of the user PCs. Maybe 1 or 2% you can say, I saw one company, There is an exception. But we cannot keep a control on the local laptop. PST backup and those things cannot be. Not feasible. So what to do? The main task is to eliminate the PSTs. How we can do it? Archive the mails. Archive means what? It will be removed from the exchange, put it somewhere else. I'm generally talking about the archiving. What the archive is.
This is done on the server level?
Yeah, server level. I'm not talking, just say what's the archive is. Archiving is what just remove from the original location, put it somewhere else. So in case if you required, you can access from there. This is the whole idea what the archive is. So the main idea basically, for example, if you have a file server. So for example, you have a 1 TB of disk. Now you are going to be filled maybe in couple of days. So what you can do is either you can expand the disk, right, on the file server. But on the file server maybe you have the expensive disk available, like high speed disk. The SAS is available on the file server. That is much expensive as compared to the nearline SAS, for example. All you know, like normally SATA or NAS drive network. For example, if you want to buy the one disk for the server, possibly it's a couple of maybe 100, 200 more than this one KDs as compared to the NAS normal network drive, right? So your preference will be, why not to put the archive in the low speed disk? This is what the purpose of archive. So Enterprise Vault can archive Exchange, it can archive SharePoint, it can archive file server, it can archive file server, SharePoint and Exchange, and even IAM also. Domino is available. Domino is the, maybe some guys don't know, Domino is basically the Exchange alternative. So we are mostly work on today on Exchange archiving part. But Enterprise Vault can archive Exchange, can file server archive, can be done Domino. Even with the help of some extension, it can archive the instant messages also.
What is this? Domino?
Sorry, Domino is the same as Exchange server from some other company, IBM, I think. IBM, yeah. Okay, so the second thing, Enterprise, with the help of Enterprise Vault, we can do the e-discovery for compliance purpose or legal and compliance purpose. So what it means by, so now you know that all the communication is going through the exchange, or like email communication is plays a very important role in the business communication. So as per the compliance requirement, so they have to have the full system in place, like to keep a record of all the communication. Okay, so Enterprise Vault can do the effective search on all the data for any purpose, like legal or compliance purpose, it can do that. We will see once we go. Okay, now we'll talk about the Enterprise Vault licensing. Basically, we have two options available. One is basically per user, one is on the TB. But it's a different, based on the different requirement. For example, if you are going to archive Exchange, you need to have the license per user license. Okay, if you want to archive Domino, you require to have per user license. But if you want to archive the file server, then you need to have the capacity based license, basically per TB, 1 TB, 5 TB, different options are available. Okay, so for example, we are mostly dealing with these kind of suits. I put a snapshot from there. Normally, storage foundation for Exchange. Basically, it's a mailbox archiving solution. It's include only user mailbox archiving.
So,
Yes.
basically, enterprise vault means that it is just for archiving.
Just
It
for
is not
archiving.
related to Exchange itself. It is not related only for Exchange.
No.
It is-
Not for. It
Yeah.
can archive file
Archive.
system.
Yeah.
It can archive SharePoint also. So basically, it's a archiving solution.
But mainly it is used for archiving mails. Mainly.
Not mainly.
It is a,
It's based on the
based on whatever the
For example, I tell you, now even we are going to implement for 2 customers file system archiving, Ubian Bank and Gulf Consult. So,
it will go to
so for example, Gulf Consult is going with Enterprise Vault. For example, they have currently EMC storage. Okay, now if you talk about the EMC storage, that is quite expensive. So now they are reaching the capacity. So what their option they have, either they have to remove something from the EMC, okay, and put additional storage over there. So they choose to go with the Enterprise Vault for file system archiving.
folder.
Okay, what it will do is we can in the Enterprise Vault you can define the policies. Based on the policy, for example, last 1 year email, files which is not being opened or modified will be archived. So once you define the rule, user don't have to do it manually, move the files. It will be moved automatically and put it over there.
So this is just a software level.
Yeah, software. So it will move the file actual and put it. EV has its own storage. So
Yeah, EV is having its own storage, right? It is coming with the hardware.
no, not hardware. It's a Windows server.
Okay.
So you are defining, giving the storage either from the SAN or local disk or whatever.
Anywhere.
Yeah, but the full management will be covered from EV. We will come to that point. Just I'll give you the overview only. Yeah. Okay. So clear. So these are the major options we are dealing with. So first is storage foundation for Microsoft Exchange. This is for the email archiving. The second, e-discovery. E-discovery is what basically this is for the journaling and the compliance purpose on the Exchange server. So all the communication, everything will be archived, a copy of that one in the Enterprise Vault. So anytime the legal department want to search anything for the legal purpose or anything for any purpose, so they can search across all the archives and they can put a legal hold and those things. We will see that one part. Okay, and then EV archiving, it's include the file system and other things. Even the EV can archive the NetApp storage also. Yes.
Capacity builds. Can you just explain?
Capacity is basically the front end capacity which you are going to be archived. For example, 1 TB you are going to archive, or 5 TB you are going to archive.
And will we apply what kind of archiving, like the
file system archiving only. File system only. Mail archiving or any journal archiving, e-discovery basically depend on per user. So what are the main advantages of the people are saying Exchange itself has the archiving feature, Exchange Online, right? So it has journaling. We are not using journaling is not the EV feature. It's basically a Exchange feature. So I'll give you the main feature. Like first of all, there is no compression in Exchange. From Exchange 2007 onward, the last time in Exchange 2007 they have compression at single instance. So they have removed it because of the performance and those things. So in Exchange 2010, 2013 even, they don't have compression, they don't have single instance. So what it will happen, for example, now? For example, Prasad sent one email for all us, one 10 MB attachment. He sent one video file, he sent some joke is there. So he shared that email with 10 of the guys, for example, in the technical department. So that's 10 MB basically sent to the 10 people. In the exchange, the size will be 110 MB. How? My mailbox has a 10 MB. Muhammad has 10 MB. Nishant has 10 MB. Everyone, if you calculate, 10 MB on his sent also. So you have, he has sent one email, but actually in exchange we have used 110 MB. Because there is no single instance. Previously there was a single instance in exchange, but now there is no more. Because Microsoft is thinking like to improve the exchange performance, they have removed this feature. So either you are using the Microsoft Exchange Online Archive, there is no single instance. Okay, so we have it in Enterprise Vault. The second thing, we have compression also.
Deduplication is there as well.
Deduplication is what basically single instance.
It is the same concept.
Same concept.
Same concept.
And second thing, e-discovery. If you talk about on Exchange side, it's very difficult to do perform a search for the legal hold and for the whole organization search if you want to do that. But Enterprise Vault has a very advanced GUI, Discovery Accelerator. Yes.
The deduplication of single is the same thing, but it is, you mean it is file level, the deduplication is file level deduplication.
Yes, file level.
So, okay, I got it.
It's basically a single instance.
Yeah,
Deduplication is something different.
In this case, it is not deduplication, it is single instance.
Yes, single instance.
But because in their slides, I saw that.
No, but no. Global deduplication is what basically it's creating a hash for every email. It's divide. What it will do is basically Enterprise Vault. Whenever any email is going to be archived, it will convert that email or file in its own extension of that file. So while converting that file, it will break down that file.
Now this is a deduplication.
So it will break down the file, okay, and create a hash for each file. Okay, and the second thing, it is converting that email or either file in some searchable content. So you are getting the basically, that's why you are getting the search and those features from the Enterprise Vault. Okay, got it basically?
And
point is clear?
Single instance, it will apply on the files backup also, I mean file archive also.
Everything. It's a global DB. Sorry. Okay, compatibility chart. I think I put a shortcut here, but the thing I think we will discuss on this one later stage. But right now I am not going to discuss it. But in the slide, basically it's the sequence. So I didn't disturb the sequence of the course content. So, but we will discuss it on later. But remember one thing, Enterprise Vault, this compatibility is very important. Even any single component is not compatible, maybe the product will not work.
Not installed.
No, compatibility. For example, if your Windows Server 2012 is not supported and you are using on that one, there is no guarantee it will work. Most of the time I saw like it's not working. The compatibility is the major factor to make the things work properly. So everything should be compatible. So I will not talk now. Let's We will come back to this slide later. So what are the prerequisites? From the OS side, we require these couple of components. To install enterprise vault server, we need to have these components installed, pre-installed. These should be the prerequisites. For example, we have to enterprise vault storage should be on the NTFS. But nowadays everywhere NTFS, but we cannot install on FAT or any other system. Yes. Yes, separate. No, it's not recommended. It's not recommended. We can do that, but it's not recommended.
What is running in one server?
Minimum server requirement is basically varies. It varies based on the different different organizations.
Have all the components on one server.
Yeah, we actually have all the components on one server. We'll talk to we'll talk that design and those things later. Let's have prerequisite the basic setup first.
Okay, which level is it?
SQL only.
Which is support?
SQL Server. There is a support from the SQL Server 2005 onward.
Full version only?
Full version only. Express is not recommended because the database, SQL database is expanding very big. It's very big. For especially the vault stores and those things. Because I'm not talking about that right now. We are going to be covered later. So, what are the prerequisites from the OS side? On the OS, there is a Microsoft Messages queue that need to be installed on the local server. Okay, IIS should be there, .NET framework should be there, IE 7 or later, that is by default is coming. MS XML should be installed, Windows PowerShell should be there. Okay, these all things should be there first before installing Enterprise Vault Server on the Windows server. Okay, yeah. 2000. That's why. Okay. 1 minute. Let's talk about enterprise compatibility. I think. Okay, let's talk about the enterprise vault compatibility. That's why I'm saying.
I think it will display.
It will display.
Let it be. No problem. You can check it out on the.
Okay. Basically, from the OS side.
Yeah. If there are any questions that you need to answer later on, please make a note.
Okay, sure.
So that it doesn't skip our mind.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, you can ask any one of them also to speak a note of it. So basically, these are known as parking lot questions. So any questions that you have asked him and he said that I'll get back to you later, just put it in the parking lot. Okay.
It's got disconnected because of the Wi-Fi. Okay. 1 minute. So I'll answer. Okay, from the Windows side. Okay. The basic requirement, you need to have one database server for you need to have one database server and one server for the enterprise vault server itself. Okay, database, which database it can use? It can only connect with the SQL server, nothing else. No Oracle, nothing else, only SQL server. So minimum support for the enterprise vault is 2005 SQL server right now. Okay, if you are using Enterprise Vault 11, that is the new release, that is supporting only SQL Server from 2008 onward. There is no support for 2005. Okay, the second thing. The second thing is Enterprise Vault Server OS. Enterprise Vault Server OS, it should be at least 64-bit. From version 10, it should be at least 64-bit server. 64-bit OS means we need to have at least Windows Server 2008 and above.
What is the latest version of BT now?
11. It's released last 2 weeks back. Okay, the clear now, the prerequisite is for the OS and the database. Clear? Any question other? Okay. Then the service account requirement basically. Service account requirement basically what we need to have one service account to run the enterprise vault. There is no special requirement, only that account should have the mailbox. Okay. Should not be hidden from the address list. Should not be hidden. Okay. And the second thing, on the it should be an administrator on the enterprise vault server. Local admin. There is no requirement for the domain admin or nothing. Only what are the requirements? One will be sorry.
It should be exchange admin or no?
Sorry?
Exchange.
Exchange admin, no. Nothing.
Nothing schema, like
Nothing.
Okay. What about the SQL authentication?
SQL authentication, we need to have basically at least DB creator account, a DB creator rights on that database, on the set server.
Okay. It should use Windows authentication or
Windows authentication.
Windows authentication.
Yes, right. Okay, I tell you one more thing. By default, in most of our deployment, they are giving us the SQL server separately. Okay, normally we used to install or the other, even if the customer is installing, he is preparing the SQL server separately.
another box like you.
So here he is not using their own SQL server. So most of the time we will have a system admin permission on that SQL server. The same account, EV admin. So there is no permission issues. Otherwise we need to have at least DB admin, DB creator permission on that server. That is a minimum requirement.
Okay, is it recommended to use production server? One of the.
It's not. You can use it, but it's not recommended because enterprise vault performance is purely dependent on the SQL server. It's heavily dependent on the SQL. If the SQL is heavily used by some other application, maybe you will feel slowness and those things. So it's better to have it on the separate.
So it has to be dedicated.
Or either it can be installed locally on the enterprise vault server. Can be, if it is a small environment. Most of the small companies are using like this. Local SQL server installation, and then on the top there is. So we'll talk to that later stages. Okay, so next tool, basically we have enterprise vault deployment scanner. This is for what? Now you are going somewhere, okay, you need to install enterprise vault server and or prepare the enterprise vault server. This tool is your friend basically. If you forget, you don't know any prerequisites for the enterprise vault server, browse the CD, install this one, scan the system. It will give you the result which is installed and which is missing. Okay, this is the first tool you should install on the Windows server when you are going to install the enterprise vault. This is the first tool you need to install. What it will do, it will scan the system and give you what are the prerequisites you have missed or which is not installed. It will give you the full list, like either Outlook is not installed on the server, Outlook version is not compatible, MSM queue is not, message queue is not installed, .NET is installed or not, IIS is installed or not. It will check everything. It will go through all the steps and tell you like this is not installed. If it is installed, it will give you the tick mark.
So in case if we are wanting like non-exchange, so in that case Outlook is also supposed to be.
No Outlook, then it's not required. No, it will. Then you can ignore it. You know that Outlook is not required for this file server.
This scanner is a a generic scanner.
It's a generic scanner. You can give the path of the exchange. You can give the path of your file system. You can give the path of the SQL server and click next. It will scan the permission, everything, and let you know like this is compatible or no, and what are the missing component. So this tool you always should run. Even I have a issue. For example, last time for one of the customer, they have changed the firewall setting. We did everything. He didn't tell me like he switched on the firewall. Now some of the ports has been blocked between EV and the SQL server, and we don't know. He didn't tell us, like even we don't know, like everything is working fine, immediately stop. We never think like firewall is the issue. So I was doing everything. 3 hours we spent. Then later on when I got an idea, I just run this enterprise vault scanner. Then it immediately prompted me like firewall is on. So keep remember, like in case if you are going to deploy or install, this tool should be run first. It will give you the OS or the environment idea how the things are. Anything is missing or no. Immediately it will tell you. So even you can check basically what you are going to scan for. Exchange archiving, file system archiving, local domino archiving, PSP archiving. You can select from Javed.
You can only select one.
You can select only the file system archiving in this case. Okay. Your question. Okay. So it will give you the report basically. You can save the report. You can open the report same time, and you will have a clear picture of that one.
But that is coming on the last stage, right?
Yeah, last stage. In between, it will give you the result. I don't have that picture at that time. I'll come to that point. We'll run the scanner right now in our VM. Okay. This is our lab environment. So I'm going to start now. We have 4 PCs, 4 virtual machines here in our lab environment. All the PCs have these 4 servers. Basically 3 servers and 1 client. Okay. DC SQL, basically it's a DC domain controller as well as the SQL server installed. Okay. And then server 1 is basically your exchange server. Server 2 is your enterprise vault server. Okay, client is Windows 7, client is there.
What's the password for login?
Yeah, to log in on that, basically the password is train. Train.
Train.
TRAIN. Yes. Laptop password is test 1 2 3.
Small?
Capital T, test 1 2 3.
Which one is the EV server?
Server 2 is the EV. Server 1 is your exchange server. DC SQL is your domain controller as well as the database server. So what we are going to do now, first we are going to run the deployment scanner on the server. Let's see, like if it is not working, then password P small, password
E small.
P small. So still the machines are getting up. Any question? Any guys? Any question? Anybody has? Robin, you joined later. I'll summarize what we have covered basically. Enterprise Vault EV. Normally we used to say like EV. is used for archiving purpose. Archiving is what, for example, your exchange, if you talk about the exchange archiving, for example, you have a mailbox of 2 GB. Okay, when it's getting full or full 2 GB is used, what you will do normally? You need to move the mails to the PS3. To eliminate this, like user should not save in the local PCs. We need to have some solution to move the mails from Exchange server to somewhere else. So in that thing, Enterprise Vault comes in the picture. Sorry? Mailbox archiving and file system archiving also it can do. No, PST, that's why we are using to eliminate the PST, totally finish. No more PSTs.
Service
EV admin. EV service underscore service. That password is strained even. Any account you are going to deal with in this lab is basically password is strained. Any account.
Capital key or small?
The small.
This is a fresh lab or fresh one?
Not fresh one. Like, but all these PC has fresh lab. You are going to do it from the scratch.
You have that
Compressed VM I don't have basically right now. It's extracted. You can copy it from here. There is a snapshot.
Copy this one. You can run it and the workstation. Right on here, the snapshot. Certainly,
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just asking them for the compressed. Because these are 80 GB.
No, I don't have compressed one.
So to come here, you need 80 GB and you need time to copy it. I took it from Magic before.
I gave it to Majid actually.
Yeah. And you reset it on the system or
I have reset it. There is a snapshot on the lab.
Yeah.
Every machine has a snapshot start class.
Yeah.
I think my PC is hanging now. Or what? Okay. Domain is applying policies. Okay, the service account which is configured is EV underscore service. So let's log in on the server first. So what we have discussed, like deployment scanner is our best friend in case any of the compatibility, or even it can diagnose the compatibility also, right? It can diagnose the compatibility also. For example, Outlook version, incompatible version is installed. Okay, it will notify you. Outlook version cannot be ignored. If the uncompatible version is installed on the server, it won't archive Exchange. It won't archive. The archiving task will fail immediately. So remember this thing.
We have to configure the Outlook in that EV server.
We need to install it, not configure. We need to install the Outlook. Yes. So let's run the. Okay, all of you guys, just open Enterprise Vault deployment scanner. You can get it from Enterprise Vault and Enterprise Vault deployment scanner. See now. Server number 2 is the EV server. Okay, let's run it. It will scan the compatibility as well as any prerequisites which is going to be missed, or either it is installed. You can confirm it from here before rolling going further.
What's this called?
Deployment scanner.
Okay.
Will I run now?
Yeah, run it.
Do not set configuration for the prompts. Okay, and where we need to run this?
My PC is little bit slow. Okay, now this is the first console for the deployment scanner.
There is a tool option.
Sorry?
Tool option.
Which tool option?
Scanner tool.
No. This is only. That's it. Program files, when you install the enterprise vault, like setup, run the setup, it will by default installed on the PC. Or in the CD, under the server, there is a separate folder deployment scanner. You can install that setup. In the CD, enterprise vault, ISO CD, nowadays CD and DVD is not coming. You have to download the ISO. So it's by default, it is under enterprise vault server. Deployment folder is there. Deployment scanner. You can install that setup. Okay. So this is the first console. You can see. Click next. See now, server configuration. You can specify here SQL server name. You can specify the Exchange server name. You can, if the SharePoint archive, if you are going to do the SharePoint archiving, you can specify the SharePoint name, server name. Okay. So right now, my main target is just to run the prerequisites check on the servers, enterprise vault server. I am not caring about the Exchange. You can forget it also. Here, for example, you can specify the file server, file share name, you can specify EMC center access, whatever your target is. You can specify here. It can scan, give you the result. Okay. Once you click next, see now, it will give you the report of that either it is compatible or no. Yes.
It didn't ask for an account.
Sorry?
It didn't ask for login account.
No, it won't require because the EV underscore service is already admin.
Because I saw that one as a local admin.
It should be a local admin. Yeah.
Okay.
To run this one.
So was this a scan? Which credentials is using?
Local account. It's a local account. That's nothing else. Yes.
We have not selected only
Sorry?
we have not selected the server, but it's scanned from the server.
Local.
Local account.
If you see here,
He's saying he's checking only EV.
EV server only I'm checking. If you see here, see it's showing operating system is compatible, tick mark is there. Language setting is compatible. DCOM component is good. MSMQ configuration has a warning. Let's see the warning. What is it? If you see here, what is showing MSMQ is installed, that is correct, but it should not be on the C drive. The same warning till end. So anything which is not as per the Symantec recommendation, it will give you the warning. If it is not compatible, it gives you the error. So by default, in our basic setup, the standard setup, we are changing the MSMQ locations. By default, when you install the MSMQ, it's installed under Windows Windows System 32. Okay, so we are changing the location. That is a separate topic. Right now, we are in the lab environment. This is okay. It can be ignorable. But by default, you can change the MSMQ location.
What's the login account? EV underscore
Service. Okay. So if you see here, Outlook version is compatible. Outlook profile is compatible. IS is installed. Internet Explorer is good. See now, because it's already components is installed, it's showing tick mark. Otherwise, it gives you the error. Sorry. Other thing is not required. For example, file system archiving, we didn't put the information over there. If you put the information, it will give you the result. But we didn't put the information.
There's a tick mark.
Yeah, tick mark last in the last console. Yes.
Okay. Now think about we are doing the scan of SQL exchange server. If we put the exchange server, it will give the
it will only give you the is it compatible or no.
okay, compatible with exchange and the EV server both are compatible, it will give.
Yes.
It will give. It means you are telling me.
Yeah, for example, if you are using Enterprise Vault 11 and Enterprise Vault 11 don't have support for Exchange 2007, for example, it's supported, but presume like it is not supported. You are running the deployment scanner for Enterprise Vault 11. You are going to target Exchange 2007.
Yeah.
It will give you error like Exchange 2007 is there and it's not compatible.
And at the same time, it will give the EV status also.
Not EV is not installed right now. EV is not installed right now. You installed only the deployment scanner. Deployment scanner will check either it is environment is ideal or no. Okay? Yes. Clear? So this is the deployment scanner. Okay. Now the thing is, for example, you have installed Enterprise Vault server. Okay. So let's come back to the next slide. There is a on the Exchange side, there is some prerequisites we need to be run. I don't know how many you guys have the Exchange expertise. I know Prasad knows, Mohammed knows, Ishan knows, Robin. You don't have Exchange experience in that much. But in our full training, we don't require Exchange expertise that much. Okay, the three things we need to have run on the Exchange server, these are the 3 points. Exchange server, Exchange experience is benefit. You will know like how the things are working, but it is not that much required. We are going to archive, we are using Enterprise Vault. We are not touching anything on the Exchange. Okay, our main topic is EV only, not the Exchange part. Okay, so
in most of the places, like let's say if we're going to any particular enterprise, they will be having an admin who will be managing.
They have their own Exchange admins.
So we have to just give them certain.
Yeah,
we
need to run these scripts on the Exchange server. So we don't have we don't have to log in on their Exchange server and run anything.
They will do it.
It's better to give the script to the end user or the Exchange admin, or if they give the access, I'll show you how to run the script. That's it. We are done.
PowerShell and run.
Yes, right. Okay. The first thing, throttling policy need to be disabled. What is throttling policy? On Exchange 2010 and onward, Microsoft has enabled the throttling policy. What it is, basically, it won't allow you more than a certain amount of connection from one source. For example, if you are the client for Exchange, you can open any certain number of connection to the Exchange, not more than this. Okay, for example, maybe 10 or 20 connection, 10 connection at a time. I don't have the correct statistics, but you are allowed to open certain amount of connection from one source or the user. This is what called, sorry?
This is what kind of session?
Mapping connection.
It's mapping session.
Like if you are opening the Outlook, you are opening a session with the Exchange. Okay, so you are allowed to have certain number of session open with the
At the
exchange.
most, one particular user might have only one session at a time,
One-
maybe two sessions.
Yes,
Example, I mean, it might be
Microsoft
one
has.
laptop,
That's
one
why
particular
Microsoft has
mobile
limited.
device.
That's why Microsoft has limited. So it can be used for some other security, like deny of service attack can be
Okay,
happened.
okay.
So they, to make it more secure, they have
They
put
have-
a limit.
Okay.
Okay.
Because what I understand from throttling is, it especially comes at the time when there are multiple requests on the server from one particular source,
Right.
and that's when it has a server throttling, and it can be blocked at
Blocked at that
depending on
particular
what-
point.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's why they have put the policy, like there is a certain connection from one client or the certain amount, like maybe 5 or 10, or we can check on that one, but I don't have the real number. But there is a certain amount of this one allowed connection for one client. Okay, so we need to disable that throttling policy for EV admin.
only for EVM.
Only EV admin. So this is the script. We need to run set EV throttling policy on the Exchange server. This is the first requirement. Okay, the second thing is Exchange permission for EV admin. So we required some certain permission on the Exchange also. So there is a predefined script by Symantec. So we need to run this script. How to run? Just type the script name -user domain name /user.
Okay.
So domain name is what? Wherever you are going to run the script. Okay, what file in our future tag will be FTSC, right? Or the future tag. Future tag. Okay, /EV admin or whatever. General question. Okay. Same as the permission.
Where is this?
Where is the
patch
mark?
located?
Patch is located on once you install the Enterprise Vault server. For example, on the C drive, program files x86 Enterprise Vault server. Enterprise Vault scripts are there, one folder. Okay.
So these are the things that we have to run on the exchange.
On the Exchange server.
Okay.
Okay. And the second thing. Okay.
What are these actually scripts doing? Now, okay, the first one I understand that it is disabling the throttling policy.
Throttling policy for
Now,
EV
what
admin.
kind of
It will
permissions
give-
is it setting?
There is some certain amount of permission required by EV admin on the Exchange server
Send as-
to archive it. Send as some other components is there.
Okay.
So that need to be doing. Okay, the second thing. Okay, the most important. Besides the service account, we need to have at least one account on that Enterprise Exchange server for the system with the mailbox to archive the Exchange. At least one account.
That will be there.
Sorry? No. For the system, we are not going to use any user account for that purpose.
So just we have to create one.
Okay,
user.
I'll explain you why it is required basically. EV, for example, EV admin is your service account for the EV administration.
Yeah.
Okay, so what EV will do is, EV will create a connection to one mailbox on the Exchange server to archive all the mails from there. So this means what? EV admin account is creating a connection with another account basically.
Okay, now, one thing that I understood from your previous slide was that every user, depending on the number of users, there will be a license. Now,
There will
would
be-
this also, this particular account,
No, this
would
is
be
not
considered
required.
as license?
No. It is not going to be archived. It is using as a system mailbox.
This is like a journey.
No. Journaling, we'll talk about journaling later. This is the system requirement to configure the Exchange. Okay, it will more clear once I come to that practical part. But remember one thing, beside the system account, we need to have at least one account on the Exchange server, on the active mailbox database. I'll explain you later once I open the Exchange console. So these three commands we need to run on the exchange part. That's it. We don't require anything else on the exchange. We'll do it.
Okay.
No,
So
wait.
not like
No, wait little bit because I'm going to run the from the EV side first. So step by step. Yeah.
Actually, see, right from the start, it is just exchange EV. That's why it's like it is only for exchange.
Exchange. Why I'm saying exchange? Because most of the customer we have majority have the exchange archiving.
Exactly.
So file system archiving is very simple. File system archiving don't require any pre-request fees. Only one agent need to be installed
Agent on which
on the file server.
on the file server.
We'll talk to that point later little bit because I'm otherwise you will get confused.
Yeah, that's why.
So once we have a EV console ready, so I can explain you more better than the slides basically.
Guys, if you'll take, just go back to Thursday when that email was sent by Safa. The topic of the training itself was EV
For
or
exchange.
right? That is why his focus of the training will be only on exchange.
Yes,
there are
There are
other uses of that. However, this focus will be mainly for exchange because majority of our customers are using EV for exchange purpose only.
But the thing is, like we will cover that one. Eventually we will. I'll show you that how you can add the file system archiving. But the thing is, there is no prerequisite. Is the main area where you have to concentrate is from the exchange side because it has more prerequisites. There are certain errors you are facing commonly in the mail archiving because there are couple of things involved in this full scenario. So this is a major part. So that's why I'm not touching that one. Okay. So now you have installed the Enterprise Vault server, right? We have run the deployment scanner. It gives us the report like everything is compatible. What will be our next step? We have to run the configuration wizard. Configuration wizard is what basically it will configure the Enterprise Vault environment, like it will make the server ready for the configuration, like to do archiving and those things. There is a one wizard, you have to run it. It will create the standard databases. It will create everything. We have to run the wizard. That's it.
Okay. Now, obviously, when we are running the wizard, there are certain things that we have to set up. For example, certain archiving policies.
No. Policy we will discuss later.
Okay, that will be discussed later.
I'm not going to discuss anything. It's only the Enterprise Vault setup till we reach the console. Right now we cannot open the console.
Okay. So in the wizard, it's not there.
Nothing.
Nothing to set up.
Nothing.
The reason why I'm asking is because I understand from some of the previous cases where the customers, when we are requesting the customer like to have the archiving to start after for emails which are 3 months older, and they have a set policy for 6 months, right?
It will be
Now,
covered.
when do we define all this?
Yeah. It will be covered in the later part.
It will be covered in the later.
Yeah. Right now we cannot open the EV console. I cannot show you.
No, it's not
No.
When
But
we
why
talk
I'm
about
saying is
prerequisites-
we have to. This is the first setup we have to do before reaching that point. So
But
I'm going step by step.
No, but before when we're talking about the prerequisites, okay, don't you think it's important for us to know all this information from the customer?
And actually,
What is the
normally,
information required?
as the standard practice, we are conducting the workshop or we are explaining the policies to the customer. Like what are the possibilities? Yeah. By default, we are explaining the customer how we can archive the mailbox, for example. So we have these kind of options, what they like to be, how they are going to be utilized.
Correct.
So based on the user approval, we are creating the policy.
Okay. Great.
So this is the step we are doing. So this is the first step. It will not archive anything right now.
Yeah, obviously.
So but it will prepare the enterprise vault server itself. After the installation, this is the first step you are going to be run. Configuration wizard.
Yeah.
Let's go to the configuration wizard.
We'll do this before
You are
running the
recording
scripts.
also, right?
Yeah, you can do it. No issue.
Before running the scripts.
Right. So because we are not going to be at the server right now. Okay, let's go to the server 2.
Mohammed,
Yes.
do you need to run that service in the exchange, that command?
No, exchange, we will do it later. Right now, we are only concentrating on EV part first. Please join that PC. It has the lab also. Okay. Okay, what you have to done is run is basically configuration wizard. Okay. So this is the first menu or the first page of the configuration wizard. See now? What it will say is basically enterprise vault basically is working based on the site. Like whenever you are setting up the new environment, it will create a one EV site. Okay, for example, the future tech, we are planning to go with the enterprise vault. Right now, we don't have enterprise vault server in our environment. The first EV server we are going to be set up, it will create one EV site for itself. Okay, so this is the console where it will show you that do you have any vault directory, like it kind of Active Directory, for example. It's not that kind of thing, but to give you the example, first time you are setting up the domain controller, it has one domain. Next time when you are configuring the next domain controller, you are adding that domain controller in the same Active Directory as a secondary domain controller, right?
Yes.
Correct? No? So you will have a two domain controller for the high availability and those things. So same as in EV. Right now we don't have. We are going to create. But in case if you have already, you can use the existing remote virtual directory. The same thing. You can add the multiple EV server in one site.
This is IIS.
Sorry?
It's creating the IIS.
Yeah, it will create later. Okay. So click next. We are going to create now. What it will say is what your language is, EV language. Obviously English. Okay. Now, see now. See now, your prerequisite is login as a service, debug programs, replace a process level token. These are the prerequisites. By default, if the EV admin is local admin, these rights will be given automatically. So that's why we required EV admin should be a local admin on this server particular. So give the password. Train. Password is train. So if you see here, see now, setting up service account, creating directory service and those things, it will do automatically. It will take a couple of minutes, maybe 1 or 2. Okay, done. Next, what it will ask, where is the SQL server? So we need to give the path of the SQL server. One thing, in case if you are using the SQL server named instance, you have to put the name here. If it is default, SQL server name is enough. Otherwise, you have to, how you are defining is basically, for example, in our scenario, the name is BCSQL. Okay, I have the default SQL server instance name. But if you have some different instance name, then you have to define backslash and put the name. Okay, this is the common problem you are getting. Confirm the SQL Server instance name from the customer. Like if they installed, sometimes some user put some EV SQL or something. We don't know. So you always stuck in this wizard. So remember, like you need to have the instance name for the SQL Server. If you are installing, I always put it as a default. But couple of customers, they as per their policies, they are defining the instance name. So remember that thing. Okay, put the SQL Server name, click next. It will search for the SQL Server. It searched.
And if there is a different instance name, so that
You have to define it.
now if you're
Slash
trying,
instance
let's say
name.
if you're trying with the wrong name, so it will be
It won't go up. Next. It will give you the error unable to connect to the SQL Server or something else. Okay. Now this is the second part. Where is the vault directory? It will ask you two locations, for example. This is the database location. This is the database logs location. All you guys knows like SQL Server database consists of two things. One is database, one is database logs. Correct? So here we are defining where those files will go. On the SQL Server, not on EV. This drive is on the SQL Server. Got it? Confused? Okay. So you can browse it. Where you are going to keep the things. For example, I am going to put EV database here on my D drive, and E drive I am going to put the logs. Okay. This is the first database enterprise vault create on the SQL Server. This is directory database. Directory database, while running the configuration, EV will create two databases. One is directory database, one is the monitoring database. Directory database is basically all your configuration, EV configuration will goes in the directory location, directory database location. Mohammed, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll click next.
you have the software with you, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so there will be two database. I can see the first one. It's there is a reporting services are there. So this is the reporting database.
Man, why you are opening that one?
I'm just
You have to concentrate here. I am explaining something else. You are opening something different.
what is over?
Okay.
No, I'm just
So click next. So next it will now see it's asking for the monitoring database. Where the monitoring database will go? You are running the wizard. Okay, monitoring database is what it is doing basically. It will collect all the statistics of the EV environment. It will give you the alert based on the audit. It can give you the alert either the item is backed up or no. These kind of things. Everything is going in this database. Monitoring for the EV environment.
Monitoring is what it will check for the hard disk space and everything. It will check.
No.
That is different.
EV services only.
EV के बारे में बात कर
No, wait. One question actually.
Yes.
Vault directory database location. We have to keep this.
पार्टीशन बनाया है
इसीलिए बोल रहा था कि ये चेक कर. That's why I am saying like don't go somewhere else.
Go back. क्या था वो exact location?
Browse. It's by default I have created one folder in D drive. You can browse that one.
So it will be same as.
Okay. So this will create the
And this one.
monitoring database. Now database creation is finished. This is the site name. What EV site you want to give the name, like Future Tech or whatever you want to give my EV site, whatever you can give the name. Let's say my EV site or whatever you want to give, you can give it. Give the name of the site here. Okay.
Any name can be?
Yeah, whatever you like to put for the EV site. Okay. So next, what it is saying is computer alias. Computer alias. Computer alias is what? Remember one thing on the from the EV 7 and onward. Every EV server should have one alias name for itself. This is why it is required basically. It is required for disaster recovery cases. All the SQL Server entries basically we are creating the database and those things. Okay, so all the hard coded entries are based on alias. Okay, the client access will be on alias. In case of failover, so you can recover the server faster. So you don't have to worry about the computer name. You can fail over the EV on the different server. We will discuss those points later.
So we need to create any DNS.
So we need to create one DNS entry on the DNS server for the EV. Okay. So we'll create one entry on our DC. Prasad, you are not doing the lab. Huh?
No.
You have some special hand?
No. What happened, we continue with the next without selecting the correct price. Now we deleting the
So we are going back.
It is taking time to delete because
When you're doing it, just follow exactly what he's doing. Good.
So these are the major why I am enforcing. Is there? What's the name of the alias? EV server?
EV server.
What's the? Can you spell it?
SERVER.
EV server. Okay. The alias. So I am defining the EV server alias for server 2. You know the alias what is? It's a pointer to the server name. Know it, na alias?
Yes.
Alias is what? I'll explain you the term. For example, in our DNS, we have the computer name and the IP address. Okay, what the DNS is doing, it will translate the computer name to the IP address and IP address to the computer name. This is the DNS functionality.
Pet name.
Okay, so alias is kind of pet name, correct? So we are defining the one entry, different name, but pointing to our existing one of the server. Okay, when you ping that alias name, pet name, it will point to the same server 2 or whatever the server name is. Got it? So I'll create next. After putting the alias name, click next. It will create the one directory. It will set the permission. It will do everything. This you can run one time only. You cannot rerun the configuration wizard. Remember, very careful about during setup this one.
Yeah, otherwise you have to do exactly what he's doing.
Very careful. You cannot rerun it. Once if it is finished, it will create the database on the SQL server, do everything. Okay, so remember this one, or we'll wait for 5 minutes.
Here it's showing error.
EV is a cell phone.
Now, what next?
Wait.
If there is a long step, let us do and go for prayers.
Just 2 minutes only, if it is possible. So I'm going to finish only. It's nearby. Yeah.
So we can end our session also today.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Just 2 minutes more. So at least we open the administration connection. Okay. So if you see now, it will ask you the major services. The next wizard, it will show you the EV services. EV has these 5 services. 4, but additional one admin service is there. Oh, sorry, 6. One more directory service. Okay. EV index service. Index is what basically it will index the thing so you can perform the search on the EV. Okay. One is shopping service, story service, task controller service. We will discuss all the services by tomorrow. What are the main role of the services? So I'm not going to touch anything today. So these are the major services.
Do we need to add more services from here now?
There is no more service.
That's it?
You can remove it. There is no more.
Okay.
Total how many
So you can distribute the services. That is possible. We will discuss this part tomorrow.
Okay.
So right now in our environment, only one EV server is there. So we will install all the services there.
Okay.
So we have to click on add.
No, there is no more. Next.
Okay.
You told 2 more services are there.
Which are by default.
By default, it will be created.
That you cannot add or remove. So these are the ones which you can either add or you can remove.
Yes.
Then
So no need to add the data location. We will add it separately. I'll show you that where to add the data locations.
what the remaining is the
Data location are some of the like where is the server cache and those things. Because I have not explained any concept of that one.
This is the store where
Stores and the temp location for the server. I have not explained anything of that one. I will not touch this part today. I'll tell you tomorrow. So after this one, click next. It will create all the services. Install the services on the local server and see, just close the wizard. That's it. So we have done the initial setup for the EV today.
Okay.
So basically what we have done,
It is coming something like that. You have to choose them not to run the case. Any start.
yes, click yes. Okay. This is correct. Okay. License need to be installed. Okay. How to install the EV license? There is a SLF file. You can copy that SLF file in the C program files enterprise vault folder. Put it there.
Manually?
Copy paste the SLF file. I'll provide you the SLF file by tomorrow, which you are going to be copied here. In the program files, I'll show you the location by tomorrow.
Give the location.
So this is the, so I'll summarize the full session today. What we have covered is basically, we have started with the installation. Installation is simple, next, finished. From the ISO, if you run the setup, there is nothing you have to worry, you can run it, next, finish. First thing you have to run is deployment scanner. Deployment scanner, what it will give you, It will give you all the prerequisites, what is installed on the server or what is missing. Either it is compatible or no. It will give you the result. The second thing, we have run the initial configuration wizard. Here you are setting up the vault directory and those things. As you like.
Here it shows already configured. This input okay.
They will be access.
इसका मतलब दो लाइसेंस है वो ठीक है
तो ये